Hi, my name is John Tisbury and with me today is Joceline Brooke-Hamilton.
Hello.
Joceline, if you've been looking at previous videos, is a full-time professional model and I do a bit of photography. This particular video is around improving your modelling and photography skills. We sort of could combine the two into the one video, so you get 2 for 1, buy one, get one free type thing. We're going to run through some tips, some ideas, some suggestions on improving your photography or improving your modelling. So things that have worked for us over the years. Not that we've been doing it for a long time.
No, we're very young.
Our next one is around your portfolio and showing your work to the wider social media. I guess it's a mistake that a lot of newbies make, either being new models or new photographers. You've done a shoot, but it's gone extremely well. You're really chuffed, really pleased with the output. So you want to smother the internet with it. I draw back from that need to do that, and less is more from this perspective. You want to, as I said earlier on another video, it's sort of 2 or 3 shots per idea or concept for me. That's the maximum that I will ever shoot. But it's hard, isn't it? It's hard for models, hard for photographers.
I think for either of us, either photographer or model, especially when we're new to it, it's very easy to fall in love with your work because you have an emotional reaction to the experience of shooting it, especially if you shot recently. And I think that for every extra picture from a set that you put up on your portfolio, it takes some of the impact away from the shot that you just put up. By the time you've seen 10 pictures from a set that someone's done, you are probably less stunned by the quality than you were when you saw the first one. And so being self-critical and choosing the very best of the best is, I think, something that stands you in very good stead for making a portfolio that's really full of strong images, very strong images as opposed to quite strong images.
Yeah, good point. And the production of your portfolio is probably one of the key, it's your showcase, isn't it? So it's got to be right, it's got to look good. And it can be very tempting when you haven't got many images when you first start to put everything up.
Yeah.
But that's probably the worst thing. It's better to, as you say, have 6 stunning images rather than 20.
Yeah, and I would think as a model that a model's portfolio should show that you're capable of being self-critical, because by putting up a lot of pictures that aren't quite great, it suggests that you don't know what looks best.
Yeah.
And I want people to book me in the belief that I will be critical enough to get everything right on the day.
Yeah, cool. Okay, our next one is talking around comfort zone. So pushing people out of a comfort zone. You'll notice that Joss has got a pen that she's hanging on to as a comfort thing. So,
Yes, I do.
she's just going to put it down now.
Put it down now.
So she's not wiggling it around on the on the frame. But this is more about doing things that push you out of your comfort zone. So we all tend to do what we continually do and what we continually like, and that can tend to mean that you always get what you've always gotten, as it were. You don't push yourself out to get new things. So for me, what I did, I shot weddings. I absolutely hate weddings, so never consider booking me for a wedding photographer. It's not something I'm good at, but I do it just from a point of view of just understanding the mechanics, understanding the process, and being aware of the different skills and techniques that are required for that. And it's a very useful exercise because it does, as we said earlier, it sort of gives you a different viewpoint on how other people do things. And it stops you from getting in that rut, from getting in that routine of doing the same sort of thing. So those new stimuli that come in can be very powerful and surprising how they push you off in a completely different route. Because it's not something you've planned for, not something you've thought about and considered. It just happens. So that new idea, that new concept, that new stimuli, that pushing you out your comfort zone is actually a good thing, and it will expand your creativity and your openness to new ideas and new things, which will only be a good thing in terms of helping your work. Another thing as well, I suppose it's linked to similar what we were chatting about earlier, about digital versus film, that I find less is more. In the old days, I sound like an old fogey here, when, you don't need to agree, when we used to have film, you'd have like 12 shots, believe it, 12 shots on a roll of film, and you were lucky if you got 6 good shots out of that. You would be quite considered in your framing, your composition, your exposure, your focusing, because you knew you only had 12 goes at getting it right. You then perhaps went on to the massive 36 images on a roll of film, but generally your hit rate was about the same. You'd take 36, you'd know you'd have a bit more spare, so you'd perhaps shoot a couple more that you perhaps wouldn't have done previously. Your precious 12. But from my experience, I found it was a very similar hit rate. So I'd get 6, from a larger roll of film of 36. And I think that continues into digital as well. Digital makes, or can make us very trigger happy. It can be like a machine gun approach if we're not too careful. But I still find that the hit rate for me is about the same. So if I do a set of images, I'm only looking for between 4 and 6 images.
Yeah. As I've got more experienced and therefore more confident as a model, I have tried to help photographers by saying, I think I've pretty much done everything I can do with this chair or with this outfit. Would you like me to change something? Because I think it's nice as a model to take some responsibility for the less is more approach. And certainly if you're working with a relatively new photographer, it's a very kind thing to do to help them to move on rather than forcing them to always make the decision, because I can see how, especially as a new photographer, you might just not have the confidence to be sure you've got the best yet.
Yeah, that's a good shout. I hadn't thought about it like that, because again, it goes back to that comfort zone that we were talking about.
Yeah.
You're in that set and it's going really well and you're snapping away nicely and you get some really great shots. And it's then to think, oh, hang on a minute, I've actually got to stop this and then think about something new.
Yeah.
So the next idea is about learning your camera settings. It's really important to know your equipment, know your tools inside and out. So know how to set it to manual, know how to set aperture priority, shutter priority, or AV, whatever camera model you've got. Know how to change the white balance, the ISO. All of those sort of key technical settings you should know inside out. If you don't, well, there's no harm in looking at the manual, taking the manual along. If it's a setting that you don't use very frequently, it can be quite easy to forget how to set that particular option on your camera. But it's important to understand those and learn those techniques and learn those skills so it becomes second nature. Why? Well, I find that if I don't have to worry about the technicals, I can then put 100% of my brain power onto the creative side of it. If, like me, your brain's fairly small and there's only a limited amount of availability for other things going on. So by not having to worry about the technicals, I can then concentrate fully on what's in front of me in terms of the model and the pose and the setup and that kind of thing. And yeah, obviously, the technicals are important. I don't forget about them, but I don't need to worry about them, I guess is really what I'm saying. I know that they're set correctly in the camera, exposure's correct, it's in focus, I've got the right camera settings and that kind of thing. And I guess there's probably some comparables across to modelling on that?
Yeah, I think there are, because I think that your professional equipment always works best for you when it's an extension of your body, when it's almost familiar to you as your body is. So certainly, for example, my makeup, I will try to always use the same makeup, use the same techniques, of course refine them as time goes on and add new products, but to be really familiar with them so that I'm taking the guesswork out of doing my face for every shoot, because I don't want to be experimenting on a photographer's time, really.
And then our last top tip is really enjoy what you're doing. I know that probably sounds a bit obvious, perhaps a bit cliche even, but you're only going to get your best work when you enjoy what you're doing. Whether you're getting paid for it or whether you're doing it as a hobby, you will find that your best work comes when you're actually enjoying what you're doing. You put more into it, you put more time into it, invest more of your energy into it. Whereas the converse is if you're really shooting something that you don't like, then you want to get it over as quickly as you can and not really put your all into it. So if you're finding you're in that rut and you're not really enjoying your photography, perhaps it's an idea to step back, look at what you used to enjoy doing in your photography and what areas of photography really excite you and interest you, and then retrace your steps back to that and refresh those previous sort of little cells which got you all excited about photography in the first place. And that sort of step back and re-energization can be very good, very positive. So don't feel that you shouldn't do that. Stand still, check, step back, and then re-energize and go forward, because you'll go forward with so much more vigor and excitement and new ideas. Okay, so that's us. That's our 10 tips for modelling and photography. Hope that you found some of them useful. Tune in again, and we'll see you soon.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.